Hey guys, welcome back to Beach and Fishing. Paul here with you again today, and this is my site aimed at everything to do with fishing. As I say in all my videos, I love fishing, I'm an avid fisherman, and unfortunately today the weather's not great for that, so I'm catching up on some videos and just seeing what's out and about. And today, along those lines, we're going to talk about my 3 best spinning rods for bass fishing. Now, bass fishing is extremely popular in the US, and also around here, I'm starting to find more and more places to do it, and it's a good fun to do. Those fish, the Australian bass hit really hard. I've been bass fishing in the US, and I caught largemouth bass, which I'm very proud of, and it hit. I think I said in the other video about reels, nearly pulled me out of the boat. I wasn't expecting it to hit that hard, but good fun. And as I say, today we're going to talk about, if you're looking to get yourself a spinning rod for bass fishing, we're going to talk about rods. I keep hitting this in the roof. Now, a spinning rod goes with a spinning reel. So the reel sits on the bottom. If you are looking at anything to do with a reel that sits on top, or a rod where a reel sits on top, that is a casting rod or a bait caster reel. We're not talking about them today. We're talking about spinning reels. So the reel sits on the bottom. I'm going to take that off. I just had that on there to show you. One thing straight off the bat, this is a very small reel, and this rod is struggling to hold it because the seat isn't quite small enough. So first trick, make sure that the rod you buy matches the reel that you've got, or the seat will sit in there properly, because this one's for a smaller rod, and I just had it in here to show you. So yeah, I don't use that reel on this rod. Anyway, so let's look at what we need to consider when it comes to bass fishing rods. As with reels, you really just need to make sure the rod is strong enough to handle what you're going to fish for. I mean, I've got a little tiny rod that I use with that little reel. I use it in a kayak, just chasing smaller species. And if I caught I wouldn't take it out in the ocean. So this one here, I wouldn't take this one out in the ocean either, but it is certainly strong enough. And I use this one for bass fishing because it's 7 foot even. I think it's 7'1" even, not even. As well. 7'1", this one. 7 foot seems to be the magic number for bass fishing. Everything I've read, every person I've seen, and I'm on a lot of Instagram groups and Facebook groups for bass fishing and fishing in general, and just about everyone who puts a nice big photo of them caught with their nice big largemouth or smallmouth bass, if they list their rod, it'll be a 7 foot whatever, normally around the specs of this one. So around 7 foot seems to be the angle. Comment below if you don't agree with me. Obviously, if you're on a kayak, you might want something a little bit smaller, or if you need to cast a bit further. So if you're on one side of the river and you know that the bass hang out under the structure on the other side of the river, then you might want something a little bit larger to be able to get to cast over there. So just consider that as well. But in general, day-to-day bass fishing, I mean, the advantage of a 7 foot rod is it will give you that extra casting power. But as bass tend to hide under structure or around rocks or under bridges or under jetties or whatever, if you're on the side of the riverbank or on the side of the lake, you don't always have to cast very far. And that's the same with all things. Where I fish in, it's a saltwater estuary, but the fish hang around in the rocky and corally structure only about 2 foot from where we stand. And people go out there and they cast right out over the other side on the sandbank and catch nothing, because that's not where the fish are. But anyway, so 7 foot. Now, when it comes to a fishing rod, a fishing rod's a fishing rod, I've always considered, but normally three different types of composition. You've got your fiberglass rod, you've got graphite, and you've got carbon. Carbon is always the lightest. This one's fiberglass. It's still very light, but carbon is by far the lightest and strongest of the three. If you can get yourself a carbon rod above others, I would highly recommend that. It's going to have a lot more strength. The only problem with those is fiberglass is the most durable, just sort of rinse and forget. In freshwater, still, I mean, with anything, always rinse it when you're finished. It's an absolute must for us here where we do a predominantly saltwater fishing. But if you're freshwater fishing, you're still getting things wet. There's still, what's the word I'm looking for here? There's chemicals in the water. There's microbiotics. I don't think that's the right word. Things in the water that stick on there and cause problems. So always rinse it off. The eyelets. This one has ceramic eyelets. You see a thing called zinc oxide. Some have stainless steel eyelets. You want something that's nice and smooth because that will determine the casting. Most bass rods I see have the little eyelets running forward as well. Again, that's why I got this one to match it, and I love this rod. It's a really nice little rod. It's quite, this one's a fast action. It bends at the top. It's probably a medium action, so a medium power. So light power bends, like light power, you could just about bend them in half. So some people like a really whippy. This one isn't really whippy. If you're looking at rods, they don't always say it on there. This one doesn't say it on here. I had to look up online to see, to look at the rod to see what the, I mean, the guy in the shop told me, and I had no reason to not believe him. But this one's like a medium power, which means it's a little bit whippy. If you go heavy, they're not as bendy. And then fast action, which means it bends at the top. Fast action bending at the top means it will cast a lot further. Slow action bends at the bottom. If you're looking for a good, and it's not as good to cast, I've got a heavy slow action surf rod. It's a 13-foot rod, very heavy slow action. And the reason I use that, get that, is because it doesn't cast very far, but we cast into these big gutters when we're chasing mulloway or jewfish. And I can throw it out there, and if there's a bit of a current, it will sit there for a little bit further, and it really isn't going to give me much give with the current. So that's why I use that one, whereas a bendy one tends to move with the current a bit further. So that's the difference. But if you're looking for a general across the board, go medium power, medium action. It'll bend in the middle. It'll be a little bit whippy. You'll feel the fish on it, and it will cast pretty well for you as well. Or go to fast if you really do need to cast a long way. Apart from that, make sure the seat's nice and strong. This one's a plasticky type setup on the bottom of the rod, so the reel will sit in there nice and strong. Once it goes in there, there's not much pulling that out. Nice strong screw, and that will hold that on very well. You want to make sure you've got that. Some of them just have the two little stainless steel or silver aluminium things there. They tend to be a bit brittle, so make sure your seat's nice and strong. Handles, this one's a rubber type thing. You get EVAs, you can get cork is really light. One thing that this one doesn't have that I noticed with a lot of proper bass rods is they have a little longer butt on the end. This one's only got a little short butt. That's the butt of it there. Some of the bass ones have a longer one. They have a little thing at the end there to help you hold it against you when you're fishing. So that's probably, and that's personal preference. I don't like a really long butt on my rods, so I do tend to go shorter. Other people do, and they go longer. So that's just a personal preference. But at the end of the day, make sure it's got decent eyelets, because if they crack, they'll just snap your line. Make sure it's got a decent reel seat. Handles preference. If you like cork, get cork. If you like EVA, get rubber. And then your action and power. If you need to cast a long way, go fast. If you like sensitivity, go light. If you like something that's going to sit nice and strong, go heavy and medium. It's up to you how you want that to run. Probably the only other thing to think of is this one's one piece. Two-piece rods, actually, as obviously as the name suggests, the ones that pull apart. Look, and again, comment below. I have found no difference in my own personal fishing, whether I've got a one-piece or two-piece. That big, heavy 13-foot one I was talking about before is actually three-piece. So it fits in the backseat of the car, which is nice. This one won't fit in the backseat of the car because it's too low. I have to do it diagonally across the car, or just put it on the roof, on a rack on the roof. But one-piece, two-piece. If you need transport in the car, get a two-piece. If you've got a rack that you can put on and you like a one-piece, get a one-piece. As I say, I've never found any difference between the two. Okay, so let's have a look at the three rods I've come up with for you here. All this information I'm scrolling through just talks about everything I have. So there's your power, light, medium, heavy, and your action stuff there as well. Your handle, split in one piece. Okay, so that's this. Oh, this one's carbon. Look at that. I didn't even know what I was looking at. And it's one piece. I've got a mistake there. I'll have to fix that. Okay, so let's go to the first one. Cast King Resolute Bass fishing rod It carbon fiber, 4.6 to 4'6" to 7'6". Go the 6 foot or 7 foot options for bass. Ultralight to heavy, go medium if you can. Moderate to fast, that's fine. 2-piece super polymer handle. Stainless frames in the eyelets, and fishing line guides that it talks about distance and accuracy. This is a really good one for a good price. The picture hasn't come up there, but that's effectively all it looks for. See that little extra butt bit I was talking about before? That's what that one has. So that's not a bad one there. 61 bucks, good price for that. I don't know why that picture hasn't come up, but anyway, that's that one there. Next one, St. Croix. It's French, St. Croix, I think that is. Very, very popular rods. Bass spinning rod again. Very popular model, comfortable fishing, split grip, premium grade. Give you a premium grade handle with a cork on the handle. And again, you can see the little butt on there that the bass rods have. Cork handle, 6 to 8, 6.8 to 9.6. Again, stick the 6 to 8 foot. Go to a 9'6", as I say. If you need to cast a lot further, then you can go to that slightly higher length. Medium power, extra fast action, which means it bends at the very top, good for casting. So if you need to cast, get this one. 1 or 2 pieces depending on the length. And as I say, the cork handle, it's got a hook keeper in it, 2 coats of flex coat, which means it's nice and durable, and slim profile. Ferrules, which is your little butt holes, your little rod holder part there. Okay, super strong, sensitive, cost effective, very, very good rod for those who like to do a little bit more bass fishing. This one, if you're just starting out, get this one. Otherwise, go to that. Excuse me. And third here, we got the Phoenix Feather Bass fishing rod. Light and fast. The power is heavy, extra fast action. So this one's if you really want to, probably on a boat or something like this, if you really want a good 7 foot bass rod that's going to be nice and strong, 36 and 40 ton carbon fiber, depending on the length. They're 6'9", 7'7", very good. 1 or 2 piece ethylene vinyl acetate, which is your EVA, which is just sort of a rubbery type substance. But as I say, the heavy power and the fast action use it on a boat, and this is nice and strong. You will not lose a fish with this rod based on the rod. If you lose it, it's all on you. Well, that's the excuse. I always blame my rod, but it's always on me. So yeah, lightweight, carbon fiber will be nice and lightweight, but very strong. Use use across a lot of different conditions and target species, and you won't go wrong with this one here. Very, very good looking rod, that one. That one if you need to cast a bit further. This one if you're working or if you're just starting out. Okay guys, that's my 3 best spinning rods for bass fishing. Hope that was helpful for you. If you're watching this within YouTube, please like and subscribe to my channel below. If you're watching this within the post, comment below. Let me know of any rods you use, if you've got experience with any of these rods, what you prefer, if I'm right or wrong with the length, anything else that you like to look for in a bass rod, please comment below. Would love to hear from you. Love to see what everyone's using. And apart from that, have fun fishing, and I'll see you next time. Okay guys, see ya.